In this session, we'll discuss about asynchronous counters and synchronous counters. Initially, we'll see a little introduction to the counters, and these are the things which we are going to discuss in this session: ripple counter, down counter, parallel counters, up down counter, and then synchronous counters. Okay, so let us start this session with a counter. So what is a counter? A counter is a circuit which cycles through state sequence. As we know that counter is a circuit which is going to count the incoming clock pulses. Okay, and there are two types of counters. One is synchronous counters and the other one is asynchronous counter. So here synchronous counters are implemented by using some parallel way, and the best example for asynchronous counter is ripple counter. So initially we'll discuss about asynchronous counter, and later on we'll discuss about synchronous counters. Okay, so ripple counter lets some flip-flops output to be used as a clock signal source for the other flip-flops. So here in case of ripple counter, the output of one flip-flop is connected as a clock source for the next flip-flop. Okay, so that is why they are called as asynchronous counters. And in case of synchronous counters, same clock signal is given to all the flip-flops. So all the flip-flops would be doing their operation at the same time. Why? Because they are receiving the clock at the same time. Okay, so let us see that ripple counter, asynchronous counter, that is ripple counter. Asynchronous counter, flip-flop does not change condition simultaneously because it doesn't use single clock signal. Okay, so all the flip-flops will not be changing its state simultaneously. Why? Because they are not using the same clock. If one flip-flop is doing some operation, then the other flip-flops will be in a idle state. Why? Because it has to receive the clock signal from the earlier flip-flop. Okay, also known as ripple counter because clock signal input as ripples through counter. Okay, so it seems like a ripple. If we touch a water, if we touch a stable water, then we'll get some ripples. Okay, so one ripple is going to get disturb the water, and then one more ripple is going to get. Okay, so in the same way, one ripple here is nothing but the output of one flip-flop will be given as a clock source for the next flip-flop. Then it will be doing its operation. Then again the output of that flip-flop will be given as a clock source to the next flip-flop. So that is why it is called as a ripple counter. Now let us see an example of this ripple counter, that is 2-bit ripple counter. So as you know that in order to implement a 2-bit register, we require two flip-flops. Okay, and output from one flip-flop is connected to the clock input for the next flip-flop, that is MSB. Okay, so here this Q1 would be MSB and Q0 would be LSB. So here I am taking two JK flip-flops which are implemented as a T flip-flop. Okay, now here, and these JK inputs are tied to logic high. So whenever we want to implement a ripple counter, then definitely we have to go with JK or T flip-flop, and these inputs should be tied to a logic high, that is VCC. Okay, now here Q1 would be MSB and Q0 would be LSB. So as soon as now here I am applying a clock, and here this clock is positive edge triggered clock. Okay, so during the rising edge of the clock signal, the flip-flop is going to perform its operation or process the inputs. Okay, so whenever these JK inputs are tied to logic 1, then the output would be the complement of Q0 or complement of Q. Okay, so initially assuming that both these flip-flops are holding logic zeros, and this is the state, that is this is the initial state, that is 0 0. Now as soon as we apply a clock signal during the first rising edge, what happens to Q0? Yes, a complement is obtained on the Q0. Initially it was 0, now we get 1, and here it is receiving a clock now from, sorry, it doesn't receive a clock. Why? Because Q0 bar is 0 now, so it will not process the inputs until it gets a positive rising edge. Okay, therefore from the initial state 0 0, now it changes to the state 0 1. Why? Because Q0 has been changed to 1. Okay, now during the second rising edge of the clock signal, now what happens to Q0? Q0 again it is complemented, so it becomes 0, and the complement is obtained here, that is 1. Now this 1 is given as a clock input to the next flip-flop. Now as it got the rising edge, so what happens? Q1 gets complemented, therefore we'll get the state as 1 0. Okay, now during the third rising edge, now this flip-flop is again going to process the inputs, then it is going to complement this, which becomes 1. Okay, and initially it was 1, therefore the last state would be 1 1. Okay, later on again it continues the same states, that is from 0 0. Okay, now this 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1 are repeated until clock signal is received by this particular flip-flops. Okay, so this is how we are going to implement a 2-bit ripple counter. Okay, now let us see a 3-bit ripple counter, which is similar again, but here we have to use 3 flip-flops. Okay, and all these JK inputs are tied to logic high, and a clock is given only to the first flip-flop. Okay, and here Q2 is MSB and Q0 is LSB, so we have to give the clock only to the LSB. Okay, and the operation is similar. During the first rising edge, now this flip-flop is going to process the inputs, therefore we are going to get a logic 1 at the output of Q0, and remaining would be zeros. So here it shows that it is the state that is 0 0 1. Okay, and during the second rising edge, then it becomes 0. Now as Q0 is 0, Q0 bar will become 1, and this 1 is given as a clock input to the next flip-flop, therefore it processes the inputs and will get the output as 1 here. Okay, so this is how it is going to perform its operation by receiving the clock signal. Okay, let us see one more example, that is 4-bit ripple counter. As I told you that if you want to implement an n-bit ripple counter, definitely we require n flip-flops. Okay, and the clock must be applied only to the LSB flip-flop, and MSB is on the right side. Okay, now here Q3 would be the MSB and Q0 will be the LSB. Okay, and here it is a negative edge triggered. So what is the difference between negative edge and positive edge? If it is a positive edge triggered clock signal, then the flip-flop processes the inputs only during the positive edge signal. If it is a negative edge, then the flip-flop is going to process the inputs only during the falling edge. Okay, this is it is shown here. This is the falling edge. Okay, so it is going to process the inputs only during the falling edge of the clock signal. Okay, so this is how we are going to implement any ripple counter. Now let us see asynchronous down counter. The previous example is up asynchronous counter. Down asynchronous counter count from large to 0. Okay, previously we have seen asynchronous counter, which is nothing but a up counter, where the count is incrementing from 0 to its maximum value. If it is a 3-bit counter, then the count would be from 0 to 7. Okay, now let us see how to implement a down counter, which is nothing but it starts from the maximum state and ends at the minimum state. Okay, for example, if it is a 3-bit counter, then it starts its count from the 7 and ends at 0, and again continues from 7 to 0. So that is repeated. Okay, so here 3-bit up counter, just now we have seen where 3-bit up counter we have seen where Q0 is applied as a clock signal, and then 3-bit down counter where Q0 bar is connected as a clock signal. Okay, now let us see one more counter, that is 3-bit binary down counter, and it is also called as mod 8 counter. Why? Because here it is going to produce 8 states. Okay, 2 power 3 is nothing but 8, so it is going to produce 8 states, so that is why it is called as a modulus 8 counter, or as modulo 8 counter, or mod 8 counter. Okay, as you can see the states which are starting from the 7, it is a down counter, so 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 and then 0, and again it is going to repeat the same states. Okay, so in order to implement this, definitely we require 3 flip-flops, and JK inputs are tied to logic high, and then clock is given only to the LSB flip-flop, and then Q0 bar is applied as a clock to the next coming flip-flops. Okay, so this is how we are going to implement 3-bit down counter, or else a modulo 8 counter. Now let us see synchronous counters, how to implement synchronous counters. So synchronous here is nothing but same clock is applied to all the flip-flops. Okay, so flip-flop with the same synchronous clock signal, we can build synchronous counter using process to design sequential circuit. Okay, let us see how to design a synchronous counter. Okay, we'll go with an example that is 2-bit synchronous binary counter. Okay, using T we can develop it with T or else with JK. Okay, now here initially we have to draw the state diagram, which is nothing but which is shown here, that is initial state is 0 0, and the next state for this 0 0 is 0 1, and for the next state for this 0 1 is 1 0, and the next state for this 1 0 is 1 1, and the next state for this 1 1 is 0 0. Okay, so this kind of diagram is nothing but a state diagram, okay, where it is going to show us what is the next and previous states of the present state. This is the present state, this is the next state, and this is the previous state. Okay, now let us draw a functional table for this, which contains present state, next state, and then flip-flop inputs. Okay, present state, as I told you, this is the present state, assuming that 0 0, initial state is 0 0, so this becomes present state. And next state for this 0 0 is 0 1, so here it is next state, which is represented with some plus symbol. And then flip-flop inputs. Okay, so what kind of flip-flop we are using for designing this synchronous counter? Okay, now here initially we have to write all the states, that is 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. Now we have to write the next state for this present state. Assuming that 0 0 is the present state, then the next state for this 0 0 would be 0 1. Okay, if 0 1 is the present state, then the next state would be 1 0, and 1 0 is the present state, then the next state would be 1 1, and if 1 1 is the present state, then the next state would be 0 0. Okay, so this is how we are going to write the present as well as the next states. Now coming to this flip-flop inputs, now you have to compare this A1 with A1 plus and A0 with A0 plus. Okay, if both of these are identical, okay, if both of these are identical, then you have to write a 0 under that particular group. Okay, if both are dissimilar, then you have to write it with logic 1, or else we have to perform the XOR operation. Okay, let us see how to do that. Now initially we'll compare this A1 with A1 plus. Okay, so here the first bit which is present inside A1 is 0, and here A1 plus is 0. As both are same, then we have to write TA1 as 0. Okay, and second bit is 0, and here second bit is 1, therefore both are dissimilar, therefore it should be represented with a logic 1. Okay, and here 1 1, therefore it should be represented with 0, and here 1, and here it is 0, therefore it is represented with 1. So in the same way we have to write for A0 and A0 plus. There you can see that A0 is 0 and A0 plus is 1, therefore it is represented with 1. So we have got all ones here, and we have got all zeros, 0 1 0 1 here. Okay, now as we got this functional table, next we have to implement the K-map for this TA1 and TA0. Okay, so here considering inputs as A1 and A0, so we have to plot the K-map for this TA1 and TA0. So if you plot the K-map for this TA1 and TA0, then you'll get the Boolean expressions, that is TA1 equals to A0 and TA0 equals to 1. As you know that we are going to implement here a 2 variable map, and there are all the minterms are filled up in the 2 variable map, therefore the expression that would become is TA0 equals to 1. Okay, now these are the inputs to the T flip-flop or else JK flip-flop. Okay, so here as we are going with 2-bit synchronous counter, therefore definitely we require 2 JK flip-flops. Okay, and one of the JK flip-flop, that is the LSB JK flip-flop, is tied to logic 1, and the input for the next JK flip-flop would be coming from the first flip-flop. Okay, that is A0 is the output of this particular flip-flop, therefore A0 is connected to J as well as to K, and clock signal should be same for both the flip-flops. Why? Because it is a synchronous counter. Okay, and here A1 is the output of this second flip-flop, so A1 and A0, A1 is MSB and A0 is LSB. So this is how we are going to implement a 2-bit or else a synchronous counter. Okay, now let us see how to design a 3-bit synchronous counter. Again we have to follow the similar procedure, that is initially we have to go with the state diagram, which is going to represent the present as well as the next state. Okay, and from the state diagram you have to get this functional table, okay, which represents present state, next state as well as the flip-flop inputs. Okay, as you can see here, as it is a 3-bit synchronous counter, so 3-bit counter, therefore we get totally 8 states starting from zeros to all ones, which is nothing but a 7. Okay, now we have to write the next state for this present state, so 0 0 0, the next state for this one is 0 0 1. So in the same way I have written the next states for all these present states. After that we have to compare the present state with the next states. Okay, now let us compare this TA0. Okay, for TA0, that is A0 plus A0 is compared with A0 plus. Okay, so 0 1, so both are dissimilar, represented with 1. 1 0 dissimilar represented with 1. So all the bits inside this A naught are dissimilar with A naught plus. Okay, therefore we'll get all ones. Okay, so in the same way we have to get we have to get the values for TA1 as well as for TA2. Now after getting all these minterms, now we have to represent these minterms on the K maps. Okay, considering the inputs as A2, A1 and A0. Then you'll get TA0 equals to 1. As you know that here we have 3 variables, therefore we have to go with 3 variable map, and if 3 variable map is filled up with all the minterms, then we'll get logic 1. Okay, and in the same way we have to implement the K map for this TA1 as well as for TA2, and these are the expressions that we have got. Okay, now here A0 is 1, A2 is A0, and then A3 is, that is A2 is A1 A0. Let us see how to implement the diagram. Okay, so here initial JK flip-flop input should be tied to logic 1, as we have seen that A0 is receiving logic 1 as the input. Okay, therefore you'll get the output. Now the input for the A1 is A0, therefore A0 is tied as an input to J as well as to K. Okay, now if you go for A2, the input is A1 and A0, therefore we need here an AND gate, therefore A1 as well as A0 are connected as inputs to the AND gate, then the output is now connected to J and K. Okay, then we have to give the same same clock pulse. Why? Because it is a synchronous counter. Okay, so A2 is the MSB, now A0 is the LSB. Okay, so this in this way we are going to design a 3-bit synchronous counter. Now let us see the 4-bit synchronous counter, which is again similar. Plotting the state diagram and then the functional table. From the functional table you have to get these Boolean expressions. So after getting the Boolean expressions, now we have to implement this with the help of gates as well as with flip-flops. Okay, as you can see TA0 is 1, therefore inputs for the first JK flip-flop are tied to 1, and then for TA1 it is A0, therefore A0 is connected to J and K of the next flip-flop. Okay, A1 and A0, therefore A1 as well as A0 are connected to AND gate, and the AND gate output is connected to J and K. Now as you can see here, TA3 is A2, A1, A0, therefore the output of this one is A1, A0, and this output is A2, and they are given as an input to AND gate, therefore you will get the output as A2, A1, A0, which are connected to J and K inputs. Okay, and same clock pulse. Why? Because it is a synchronous counter. Now let us implement one more counter, that is BCD synchronous counter. So here initially you have to write the state diagram, you have to get the state diagram, that is which represents present as well as the next states. Okay, from that you have to get this functional table where you are representing the clock pulse as well as the states, that is 0, 1, 2 up to 9. Okay, as we know that BCD binary coded decimal is going to represent only up to 9 decimal numbers, or else up to the decimal number 9. Okay, so after decimal number 9 again it starts from the initial state, that is zeros. Okay, so write the present state, next state as well as the TA inputs, then you will get these kind of expressions. Okay, now implement these Boolean expressions with the help of flip-flops and logic gates. Okay, so as you have got the expressions, then you have to implement that with logic gates as well as with flip-flops. Okay, so here as you can see, T3 is getting input from Q2, Q1, Q0, which are given as an input to the AND gate. So here we require one AND gate, and Q3 and Q0, here we require one more AND gate, and which whose outputs are odd, and the output of the OR gate is given as an input to the third flip-flop. Okay, or that is for last flip-flop. Therefore the output of this OR gate is given as an input to the last flip-flop. Here I'm using only T flip-flop instead of JK flip-flop. Okay, now let us see up down synchronous counter. We have seen what is an up counter, we have seen what is a down counter. Now let us implement both of these with a single counter. Okay, so we have a control input here, that is up or down. If that is 1, then it counts up. If that is 0, then it counts down. Okay, so here you can see the functional table. Same again, you have to write the present as well as the next states, and then you will get these Boolean expressions where you can see that UP up count and UP bar, which gives you the down count. Okay, now this is what the expression, and that is implemented with the help of logic gates as well as with the flip-flops. You can see one input here, up. Okay, so for example, let us go with this TQ1. Okay, Q0 UP. So Q0 and UP, okay, which are connected to an AND gate, and the output is connected to one OR gate input, and then one more input to the next flip flop will be coming from Q0 bar and UP bar. Therefore Q0 bar and then UP bar, which is nothing but up. And now the output of this OR gate is given as an input to the T flip flop. So this is how we are going to implement an up down counter. Okay, if this bit is 1, then it performs up count. If this bit is 0, then it performs down count. Thank you.